morning, sunshine. It's Tuesday, May 13th, and if you were hoping the news would calm down, you must be new here. Today's headlines include a goat trying to assassinate a cyclist, Trump handing the Library of Congress to his criminal defense attorney, and sea levels rising while the scientists tracking them get pink slips. So grab your coffee, your emotional support eyebrow pencil, and get ready to side-eye the headlines with me, because this is the only morning show where facts wear stilettos and hypocrisy doesn't stand a chance. Let's dive in. Trump appoints Todd Blanche as acting Librarian of Congress. In a move that's raising eyebrows across the political spectrum, President Trump has appointed Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, his former defense attorney during the 2024 criminal trial, as the acting Librarian of Congress. This follows the abrupt dismissal of Dr. Carla Hayden, the first woman and African American to hold the position, nearly a year before her 10-year term was set to expire. Dr. Hayden, appointed by President Obama in 2016, was lauded for modernizing the Library of Congress, expanding digital access, and promoting inclusivity. Her tenure was marked by efforts to bring the library into the 21st century, making its vast resources more accessible to the public. Todd Blanche, while a seasoned attorney with experience as a federal prosecutor and defense lawyer, has no known background in library science or archival management. His appointment continues a pattern within the Trump administration of assigning officials to multiple roles simultaneously. For instance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio also serves as the acting archivist and national security advisor. Critics argue that this consolidation of roles undermines the independence of key institutions. Supporters claim it's a strategic move to streamline operations. Regardless, the appointment of a criminal defense attorney to oversee the nation's largest library is at the very least unconventional. White South Africans granted refugee status while others get deported. Here's a one for the wait what files. This week, 59 white South Afrikaners were flown into Washington, D.C. after being granted expedited refugee status by the Trump administration. Officials claim they were facing egregious racial prosecution in post-apartheid South Africa. President Trump signed an executive order in February prioritizing their entry, and now they're being resettled in states like Minnesota, Idaho, and Nevada. Here's where it gets sticky. At the exact same time, the U.S. is actively deporting hundreds of thousands of migrants from countries like Venezuela, Nicaragua, and Haiti, including many who entered legally through humanitarian parole. So if you're confused how some get refugee status while others get a seat on a deportation plane, same. The South African president says these Afrikaners aren't fleeing prosecution. They're resisting land reform efforts aimed at reversing apartheid-era injustice. Human rights groups agree, accusing the U.S. of injecting racial and political bias into the refugee system. Now, to be clear, any group truly facing violence deserves safety. But when white farmers get fast-tracked while pregnant Haitian women and kids with U.S. passports get booted, we have to ask, what's the metric here? Because if it's danger, there are people being turned away from war zones. And if it's democracy, we should probably double check the math. Trump's executive order aims to slash drug prices, but will it work? Hold on to your pill, organizers, folks. President Trump has just signed an executive order that promises to cut prescription drug prices by up to 80%. Yes, you heard that right. The plan: implement a most favored nation pricing model, ensuring Americans pay no more for medications than the lowest price charged in comparable developed countries. But wait, there's more. The administration is also threatening trade sanctions against countries that don't raise their drug prices to match U.S. levels, accusing them of freeloading off American pharmaceutical innovation. Now, while the idea of paying less at the pharmacy is music to everyone's ears, critics are skeptical. The executive order sets a 30-day deadline for pharmaceutical companies to propose price reductions, but lacks clear enforcement mechanisms. Experts warn that without concrete regulatory frameworks, the plan might face legal challenges and could be more symbolic than substantive. Moreover, the move has rattled the pharmaceutical industry. Shares of major pharmacy benefit managers like Cigna and CVS took a hit as the order aims to cut out intermediaries and allow patients to buy directly from manufacturers. In summary, while the executive order makes bold promises to lower drug prices and challenge international pricing disparities, its effectiveness remains uncertain. Only time will tell if this policy will bring real relief to American patients or if it's just another headline-grabbing move with limited impact. Quick hits! Sea levels up, scientists out. NASA says sea levels are rising faster than expected. Meanwhile, Trump laid off over 1,000 NOAA climate scientists. The tide's coming in and the data's going dark. Miscarriage crisis in Texas. New data shows women experiencing second trimester miscarriages in Texas are far more likely to develop sepsis because treatment timing depends on which hospital you crawl to. Nothing says pro-life like waiting for an infection. Trump skips Israel in Saudi-powered lunch. During his Saudi trip, Trump inked a $1.4 billion arms deal and dined with the heads of Amazon, Google, Tesla, and Boeing. Notably, not invited Israel. The White House calls it strategic. We call it ghosted. Jockey fined for whipping too hard. Kentucky Derby winner Junior Alvarado was fined $62,000 for using his crop 8 times. The limit is 6. Sovereignty may have crossed the finish line, but Alvarado's wallet just took a lap of shame. Tory Lanez stabbed in prison. Rapper Tory Lanez reportedly suffered 14 stab wounds behind bars. He's recovering and hopefully rethinking everything. Goat nearly yeets cyclist at Giro d'Italia. New road hazard unlocked. Goat cyclist Jan Smith was nearly launched off the road mid-race by an airborne ungulate. No injuries, just pride bruised and memes secured. Argentina's Yahtzee surprise. In today's How Is This Real? Argentina Supreme Court just discovered 83 boxes of Nazi-era documents in its basement. They've been turned over to the Holocaust Museum because, of course, they were in the basement. And that's your morning mess, beautifully untangled with a side of sass and just the right amount of what the hell. We covered white refugees getting VIP status while legal migrants get booted, a goat with vengeance in its eyes, and the president's new plan to make your meds cheaper, or at least headline worthy. Like, follow, and subscribe for more fact-spiked fabulousness. And remember, if Trump ever asks to borrow a book, hide the Constitution. See you tomorrow, gorgeous. Stay sharp, stay loud, and stay caffeinated.